Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to compare a couple of my favorite reels. We're going to compare the Shimano SLX DC to the Shimano Curado DC. There's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences in these reels. So we're going to talk about the similarities first, and then we'll talk about some of the differences and maybe help you all select which reel is right for you. So let's take a look. Alright guys, first we're going to talk about what is similar about these reels. The main thing that these two reels share are the DC component. The DC stands for digital control. It's Shimano's digital control braking system. It uses a microcomputer that monitors the spool 1,000 times per second. So 1/1000th of a second it reads. And that helps you control your cast with lighter lures, or if you're casting into the wind. It applies just the amount of brakes when you need it. Now to adjust these brakes, you've got, well, I guess we'll talk about a similarity and a difference all at one time here. In order to set these reels, you have a dial. Let's see if you can see that. You have a dial that goes from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what these do is, if you don't want any assistance pretty much and you want to get the longest cast you can, you're pretty good with a bait caster, you're not worried about thumbing it, you can put this thing on 1 and you can just bomb it out there. Now this basically eliminates your DC capability. It's just a free spinning reel with very, very little help. 2 is your setting for your mono and your braid. 3 is your setting for your fluorocarbon, and 4 is for maximum braking and pitching if you're going to be trying to get up under docks or trees or something like that. It's maximum control. Now on the Curado, you have an extra one. On the Curado, it goes from 4, and then you 3, 2, 1, and then there's an extra slot that says open. The SLX does not have this. This is for opening up your side plate to access your spool. So what you do to access it on the Curado is you kick that to open, slide that down, pop your cap off, and then there's your spool. The SLX is a little different. It only has the 4. To access its spool, let's see if I can do this upside down. Got this little click lever that you click up, then you kick the side plate down, and it slides right up and off. And then you can access its spool. These two reels also share the same hay game body. They cold forge these steels to where you have very, very limited flexing. And the reasoning behind that is so that when you get that fish, when you're reeling in that fish, you don't have to worry about any flexing from the body components. They're just gonna work. The differences on these reels are very, very small. Although I will admit, there's a considerable difference when you hold these reels in your hand. They also both have the same handles, same grips, same drag. Both of them for the most part are around 11. You run 11 pounds drag. There is one exception for the SLX if you get the 6.3. It does have 12. But for the most part, drag's the same, handles the same, grips are the same. They are very similar reels. They are also slightly different. Curado is $250. The SLX is $190. So there's a $60 difference, and you have to decide if that $60 difference is worth the benefits that you get for choosing the Curado. So let's go over them right now. So the Curado, I have to admit, it's my favorite reel. It's just smooth, it's rugged, it can take abuse, It feels great. And it is just a fantastic, fantastic reel. That doesn't mean I don't like the SLX. The SLX is a wonderful reel too. I have a couple of them. Also smooth, also great, not quite as rugged. They don't feel as smooth in the hand, but if you're talking about casting out, catching a fish, reeling it in, man, it does its job. The SLX is offered in a 6.3, a 7.2, and an 8.2. This one I have the 8.2, and I also have the 7.2. And that's about as low as I go on reel speeds. I usually don't buy reels that are lower than 7.1, but if you do, the SLX is offered in the 6.3. Now the Curado is offered in a 6.2, a 7.4, and an 8.5. This one I have is the 7.4. My next one likely will be the 8.5. And both of these reels are offered in left and right hand configurations. The SLX is a 4.1 bearing system, which means it has 4 bearings in the reel, 1 in the handle. The Curado is a 6+1 bearing system. You got 6 in the reel, and you've got 1 in the handle. Honestly, I can't tell much of a difference between the 2 bearings. I do feel like the Curado is a little smoother, but weirdly enough, I don't really think it is because of the bearings. I think that this one I've just got dialed in a little better. I think maybe I've been using it a little longer, so I don't want to make that a knock to the SLX. I really think the SLX is a close competitor with this Curado. I don't think that there's as much of a gap between the two as a lot of people might think. With that said, this is my go-to reel for a reason. I'm not sure if I'm biased on it or if I'm just comfortable with it. Time will tell. I need to give these two a little bit more time and see how I feel in the near future. I know a lot of people might think that it contributes to weight. That's not really true either. The weights of these reels are only a 0.2 ounce difference. The SLX, it comes in weighing at 7.6 ounces, and the Curado is 7.8 ounces, and it's negligible. I mean, if you have these out on the water all day, I mean, you can sling these things for 6-7 hours, and you're not going to convince me that 0.2 ounces is going to make that much of a difference in the fatigue of throwing this around. Now, and I also want to point out that these reels are not only for beginners. There's a lot of taboo on the fishing pages about that, saying that if you know how to use a bait caster, then you don't need a DC. Look, that is not true at all. You could have been using a bait caster for 20 years, and I'm going to come in behind you and I'm going to throw a weightless Senko on this thing, and it's going to make you look silly. It's not about needing it or wanting it. It's just simply, is this a good tool for you? Is this going to benefit you in your fishing? If it's up to me, I'm not going to be throwing anything but DC reels for my bait casters. And it's not because I've been fishing for 50 years or because I just started fishing last week. Look guys, these reels just work. You can throw them in crazy windy conditions. You can throw them with next to no weight on them at all, and they still work. You can go out and buy you a reel that's made for finesse fishing and weightless, or you can just get a DC, and it does, in my opinion, it just does the best of both. You can bomb something that's 3/4 of an ounce, or you can bomb something that's 3/16 of an ounce. These just work. I'm not in any way campaigning to tell you all that these are the best reels on the market and these are the only reels that matter and you have to use these, or no, it's not like that. This is just what I prefer, guys. If you prefer the regular ones, if you don't want the DC, fine, go get them. But you know what? Your reel's not going to sound like this. No, some people hate that too, and that's fine. Guys, don't do it because I told you to do it. Do it because it's the right way to do it. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this one. I really hope this one might have helped you all figure out if you were on the fence between the SLX or the DC. Is it worth the extra money? Are the benefits there? I certainly think so, but like I said, I enjoy them both. I like them both. I'm going to keep buying both. So if y'all have an opportunity to give them a shot, hey, Just get out there and go fishing. We'll see you guys.